camera. Just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do.
If John was beaten up and attacked in that house, who did it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And it's not for us to know. Somebody other than Karen is responsible for that, for the killing of John.
Yeah. Roberta in the truth zone, mic hitting raw. Spotlight shining, she exposing the flaw. Debunking the myth, breaking their facade. This is Glass City, respect the squad. On these NYC blocks where the skyline flex big. Roberta Glass slicing lies with a truth rig. Innocence frosters, your stories unravel. She's a map through the madness of gritty gravel. Glass don't bend and facts don't break. She's the storm that's called, you feel the quake. Exposing tales stitched with crooked seams. Justice in the lens, shattered fake dreams. Screams about killers, painted heroes in disguise. She burning propaganda with fire in her eyes. No glamour for the guilty, she call it straight. She backs victims, the voice stay away. Stats and receipts, no spin, no clutter. Cold cases whisper, she cuts through the mutter. Truth's her tempo, don't confuse the beat. She's standing for the real while you taking a seat. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time to play. She's glass hard, break the false and save the day. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time.
Okay, here we go. Myrna, Audrey, Murder by Maestro, Lori, Susan Hicks, Darkside, B Rabbit, hello. Thanks for being here. Please hit the thumbs up on your way in. Coercive control is a crime. JMS, Big Leedy, Taterbug. Wanted to talk to you all about what happened in day 29 of Karen Reed's retrial. Once again, innocence fraudster, lawyer Robert Alessi demands a retrial, a mistrial, sorry, not a retrial. They don't want any other trial. They want her to walk. Mistrial with prejudice. Let her walk. Your Honor, stop everything. Everything. The state has participated in egregious conduct. I don't think my client can stand this kind of injustice. Your Honor, this calls for major enunciation and fist pounding, Your Honor. Do you understand? Do you hear me pounding my fist and enunciating? I am upset, Your Honor. That's what went on in court today. We're going to get to all of it. What caused it? How Judge Cannoni, it was some tense moments. If you're not watching the trial here, you're missing out. I know I'm biased, but I think I do have the smartest, best chat on YouTube. So if you're missing out, if you're not watching the trial here, what are you doing? You need to be watching it here because the chat is so fun and so on point with some tense moments. We were all there for each other. We thought maybe Cannoni was going to bite. Did she bite? I'll leave it as a cliffhanger. Judge Cannoni, the innocence fraudster lawyer, former defense attorney. Her father was a defense attorney. She's got the innocence fraud running through her veins. And I don't mean all defense attorneys are innocence fraudsters, but she seems to want to help out the defense as much as she can. Her entire focus seems to be on Karen Reed. And she doesn't seem to care so much if she tramples the rights of the people or the rights of the victim's family in this case. But here we go. So here's the moment that caused it. Let's get into that. This is the egregious. Are you guys ready for this egregious conduct? I'm not sure you are. And it's with Patrick Bateman. Daniel Wolf, excuse me. American Psycho himself. Crash Daddy himself. The ARCA witness. Accident reconstructionist from ARCA. The one who was talking on an encrypted app to the defense, who lied to the jury last time under oath, that he wasn't being paid, Alan Jackson who? Karen Reed who? And his wife is joining the Free Karen Reed Facebook group as soon as he testified. He's just a totally not biased, not paid for, not retained witness. Totally was working for another agency, just came to these incredible conclusions using only the evidence provided for him by the agency that strangely is in alignment with the defense, but that found nothing. They were looking for corruption and they found nothing. So here it is. Crash Daddy himself, Patrick Bateman, American Psycho. Check out his business cards. Mr. Daniel Wolf. Or Doctor. I'm sorry. Failed his accreditation test because it was too easy the first time. It was too easy. That's why he failed it. It was too rudimentary. Failed it. All right, here we go. This is the moment that caused all the chaos.
You showed us holes in Randy's sweatshirt from Test F. You remember that?
Yes.
And you talked about what you would or wouldn't expect in a collision as far as holes. And did you say something like that was inconsistent with Mr. O'Keefe?
Yes.
That's what you said on redirect, right?
Correct.
Okay. Did you consider whether there were holes in Mr. O'Keefe's sweatshirt separate from the holes in the arm?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes. When you were making that opinion about consistent or inconsistent, did you ever consider whether there were holes in Mr. O'Keefe's sweatshirt other than the right arm?
Well, I know that there was cutting to the.
May I approach and retrieve the exhibit, Your Honor?
Yes. So what we know about from today is that Alan Jackson is not very perceptive, because there was that plexiglass shirt there all day, all morning. And Alan Jackson never saw it and never thought that maybe the Commonwealth was going to bring it into evidence. But notice no objections.
Did you ever look at the back of the sweatshirt and see if there was any holes to the back of the sweatshirt other than the right arm and form your opinion?
I don't recall.
Take a look at the back. You see other holes on the back of Mr. O'Keefe's sweatshirt?
It appears I see one hole.
Let me get a little closer so you can get a better look. I'll direct you to here. Do you see more than one hole in the back of Mr. O'Keefe's sweatshirt?
Yes.
So notice no objections. So then we go to there's all sorts of testimony, redirect, and then there's a break, and then we get this.
Issues has arisen
minutes of the cross-examination or recross-examination of the last witness, and Mr. Alessi would like to address the court in detail about that.
All right, so the last witness was your witness? Is there a reason?
This is a separate issue, and I'm asking Mr. Alessi to address the court on this.
Okay. What do you want to tell me, Mr. Leslie?
He's starting clearing his throat, getting ready for major enunciation and fist pounding, and he's got gloves. We gotta see. Watch his face. Watch Alessi's face here. He's getting ready. His indignation face is getting
Last
ready.
witness was your witness? Is there a reason?
Look at the head posture. It's like getting ready to be outraged. Okay? He's winding himself up to get outraged.
This is a separate issue, and I'm asking Mr. Alessi to address the court on this.
Okay. What do you want to tell me, Mr. Leslie?
Bear with me a moment, Your Honor. I need to put on evidence gloves.
He couldn't have put those on before while Alan Jackson was talking. He has to delay everything, make everyone watch him put on these gloves. I mean, it's just for major dramatic impact. And he keeps them on the whole time, even when he's not touching the evidence and he's done with it. He looks like a O.J. Simpson Jr. It's like these black gloves walking around the courtroom. Yeah.
Your Honor, the defense moves for a mistrial with prejudice based upon intentional misconduct that just occurred before the court and for the jury.
Well, it didn't just occur. It didn't just occur. Time went by. It took me a while to find it. I had to find where this happened because other stuff happened and then other testimony happened. There was no objection. And then there's this. I mean, like, let's look. We'll just kind of go through. See, there's all this other testimony. So then there's a break, and then see, then we get that. Then we get this. It's just a performance. It's just to rile up the free Karen readers. Apparently, there's more free Karen readers in front of the courthouse than ever before. Let me show you. And this woman, what a piece of, I mean, all these psychopaths go into journalism and they love innocence fraud. They can't wait to look at what this one says. Penny Kimmett. I don't know how you pronounce her name. It was very hard to capture this in a way that actually looks nice, cinematic, but there's a lot more Karen Reed supporters out here this week compared to weeks past. One woman told me she came from San Francisco. All excited about it. I mean, these are murderer groups. Thank you. This is the nonsense that Judge Cannoni is allowed at court. You know, she made some good rulings today, and I want to be like, well, maybe she isn't that bad. And then I see this, and I remember that she got rid of the extended buffer zone. It's ridiculous. This is ridiculous that we have this going on during a murder trial. Is there a celebrity here? Is Taylor Swift? No, it's Karen Reed, the cop killer. Is Taylor Swift coming to Norfolk Superior Court in Denham, Mass? No. It's just the Karen Reed, the cop killer.
No, I'm not gonna hear. I was literally lying down yelling. Stop! How did I miss him? How did I miss him?
Go, cop killer. I hope you get off. Maybe you can kill some more cops. You still got time. You still got a lot of life left, girl. You go. You go, girl. Yay, murderer. Yay, murderer. Are they hoping that she kills someone in their family? I don't know. Is that what they're hoping? Do they have like a mother-in-law that they want to... Did I show that? Did you guys see that? Was I sharing? Was I sharing that? I hope so. I hope was I sharing that? Okay. Sometimes I freak out. Okay, what happens if the court finds out Karen Reed knew she hit John O'Keefe, Kit Kat says, but made up the conspiracy theory. Yeah, she did. It was a full innocence fraud campaign, complete with witness harassment campaign, with her lawyers. With her lawyers. Karen Reed's dad says that Karen knew she hit something. He sure did. She felt she struck something was the first thing he said. And then he said, and then he changed it because he knew that felt is an experiential memory. You feel you hit something. You feel it. It goes through the whole car. It goes through your body when you hit something. It wasn't an accident. An accident, you get out and you call 911. How do you know exactly where John O'Keefe is, exactly what happened to him? Exactly what you did if it's an accident. And right? The next day, if in an accident, if you felt like you hit something, you get out of your car, you pull over and get out of your car. John O'Keefe isn't answering. She doesn't think anything. I mean, we all know that those calls that she made were the beginning of the cover-up, as Hank Brennan puts it. Well, but anyway, back to this. This is a little like ADD theater. Here we are. Here's Leslie getting ready for some major enunciation and fist pounding.
In what I'd like to do, Your Honor, this regards the hoodie. In this regards questioning and representations and questioning by Mr. Brennan. And what I'd like to and need to do, Your Honor, is to have 2 documents marked as exhibits. And then I am going to use Exhibit 88, which is an evidence, which is the hoodie, which is why I'm putting on the evidence gloves. And it will become quite obvious very shortly what the issues are.
All right, so what are the things that you want to have marked?
What I would like to have marked
Horrible tie he has on. Anybody see Alessi's tie? It's also because I don't like him. Someone I liked wore that tie, I'd maybe just be like, not a great tie. But because I don't like him. I mean, I described him on X as Alessi as Karen Reed's pro bono lapdog. He's such an innocence fraudster. You just can't wait to get off. I mean, this is really... I have studied the wrongful conviction movement for 10 years, reading the transcripts, going through the case files. And it's just one guilty person after the next. These people love to get guilty people off.
What I would like to have marked, the first document, and I want to get the specific title. These two documents are from the criminalist file, specifically Ms. Maureen Hartnett's notes regarding cuttings from the hoodie sweatshirt that's in the crime lab file folder.
Okay.
So the first is the back.
This worries me. And now I don't know how the great Laura McLaughlin, the great Adam Lally, I just really like, the more this goes on, the more I really like Adam Lally and see his strengths in watching this trial, strangely. Because he was up against it all. He had so much, just like an avalanche of crap thrown at him. And he still managed to hold off, stay off an acquittal in that case. He didn't get a conviction. That would have been great, but she didn't walk. And she had, everyone. You remember the crowds, the press, everything was like, Karen Reed, freer, except for us and a few other people. We're like, ugh. It's still like that, but not at it's just not at that fever pitch that it was last year. And he still managed to hold it off. And I thought his cross-examinations were great. His openings and closings, I didn't think were great. I think that's just not that's just not where he shines. But it worries me, this whole thing, and I'll explain, still holding people off who didn't, telling you what happened. But it worries me about how Laura McLaughlin, Adam Lally, and Hank Brennan are working as a team.
Back of the hoodie. So with your Honor's permission, I would have that marked for identification.
Exhibit YYY. Friday.
And may I see that, please? Okay.
That is the back of the hoodie, Your Honor. And if I could please have the next marked in order exhibit for identification.
Exhibit ZZZ for the identification.
Give me a minute to read this, Mr. Leslie.
Yes, Your Honor.
So is it that there are no holes in the back? There were no holes on the back of the sweatshirt?
That's only part of it, but that is in fact the case, Your Honor.
Okay.
So you're like, well, what is the other part, right? You're dying to know you know what the other part is? I'll spoil it for you guys. The other part is going to connect it to his other call for a mistrial that got overruled. When Hank Brennan brought up the lack of dog DNA on John O'Keefe. And he said, well, we had no idea. And Hank Brennan told them a zillion times, if I heard it, they had to hear it, that if they bring in the dog stuff, he's going to bring in the dog experts to rebut. But if they don't bring up the dog, there's no need to bring up dog DNA or anything else. How they thought that Hank Brennan was going to rebut everything but the dog DNA, I don't know.
I can't tell entirely from ZZZ, but if that's your argument, why for identification appears to support that.
Your Honor, may I have the exhibits marked for identification back for my argument?
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Madam Court Reporter. Your Honor, what we just saw is Attorney Brennan question Dr. Wolf with regard to the hoodie sweatshirt that heretofore has been in the plastic casing for trial. And this is what happened was Attorney Brennan held up.
I keep thinking, what does a lessee look like? The way he uses his upper body, the way he holds his upper body in this really odd posture. You know what he looks like? It's a little kid pretending to be an adult. Did you ever see like a little kid like puffing out his chest? That's what it is.
The casing with the hoodie sweatshirt went to the back of the hoodie sweatshirt. First point to note, Mr. Brennan did not show Mr. Jackson the back of the hoodie sweatshirt, didn't give Mr. Jackson an opportunity to look at it.
Can I just ask a question? I noticed that it was over here at the witness stand this morning, so I assumed everyone was aware that something was going to happen with it. Is that not the case, Mr. Jackson?
That is not the case, Your Honor.
Okay.
The first time I realized that line of question was going to be asked was when Mr. Brennan pulled.
Your Honor, so I'm not using my footage with Karen Cam. I don't know why not. I should have. But Your Honor, my client is whispering all day, and I also have to be on my cell phone, so I can't notice what's actually going on in court. Karen Reed is talking to Alan Jackson, whispering to him nonstop and being they're like teenagers in church. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. The chattering never stops.
Okay.
It does stop. It's just a lot. It's a lot. I'm exaggerating a bit, but it's a lot of chattering between all of them, except Yannetti. Yannetti is pretty quiet.
Go ahead, Mr. Lessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Fairly quiet, and so is Alessi. But that's why you're given paper, so you don't talk during trial. You're not supposed. It's really such a bad look. If I were a juror, I'd take all of it.
To do it in order, Mr. Brennan takes the hoodie sweatshirt in the casing without notice, shows it to Dr. Wolf, and shows the back of the hoodie, which has certain holes, and I'm going to limit calling them holes to do this chronologically. I'm going to refer to exactly what they are in moments.
Okay, so I need to see it. I know you've got gloves on. Where is it right now? It would help me if you held it up for me now,
Absolutely, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Lessee.
So here is the back
Okay.
of the hoodie.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
It's very obvious that these are cutting holes cut by the criminalist, and I'm going to get back to this in a moment. But I would like to do it and certainly entertain any of Your Honor's questions, but in
I found it very disturbing to watch Alessi handle John O'Keefe's clothing. And if I don't know how John O'Keefe's family members felt about it. But I think that it just, I think there's something, and I think that Hank Brennan was sensitive to it, and which is why he put it under plexiglass. There's something very disturbing about watching lawyers handling their clothes. It's like such a violation. Does anyone else feel that way?
a logical order.
Sure. So I'm not.
It's one thing if you're fighting for justice for the victim, but if you're not, if you're helping the victim's killer get off and you're handling the clothes, and then he goes, so he's touched a zillion things before he put on these gloves. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous.
What about the jurors and lunch? How long do you think this will be?
I think this will take about 10 to 15 minutes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Leslie.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I just want to get the flow back going here and the logic. So, and I'll do it quickly. So Mr. Brennan grabs the hoodie sweatshirt inside the casing, doesn't show it to Attorney Jackson, goes up, we have no idea that this was going to happen, goes up, confronts the witness, Dr. Wolf, shows the back of the hoodie sweatshirt, to my knowledge, the first time the back has been referenced of the hoodie sweatshirt, shows Dr. Wolf, confronts him, and basically says, couldn't these holes be caused, and I'm paraphrasing, from a fall backwards? Obviously positing in the juror's mind after, remember, we just saw all kinds of videos with regard to Rescue Randy and impact at 24, 29 miles an hour, more aptly 29 miles per hour, and damage to the hoodie, etc. So what then happens is Dr. Wolf is asked a series of questions, very much with the indication that somehow, in the clear implication, that these holes are being caused by road rash, and that the holes in the back of the hoodie sweatshirt, Exhibit 88, could have been or likely were caused with regard to some type of impact. Clearly presented to the jurors with that in mind in that questioning. Here is the basis for the mistrial with prejudice. Those holes in the back of the hoodie sweatshirt are clearly, unequivocally, without doubt, caused nothing to do with any type of event on or about January 20th.
Unless he have a lot of deaf clients or hard of hearing clients, because they must love him. Between the enunciation and the screaming at top of lung, I mean, no problem hearing you, Alessi. Zero problem. I got to give it to you there. We hear you loud and clear.
29, 2022.
So do you have something you said, when you said obviously cut by the criminalist, do you have something that shows that chart that I couldn't understand quickly? Is it on that?
Yes, Your Honor.
back?
What
Okay.
we have is two documents to show that.
Right, so the second one, when was that provided?
These, when you say provided, you mean with regard to when did the defense get these in
Yes.
a discovery? Let me get the date, Your Honor.
Sure.
Notice of discovery, May 2023.
Okay, thank you.
And I will note, Exhibit YYY. The only, I believe, I'm holding up YYY, which is the back of the hood.
Sharon, he's auditioning for part of a Broadway play. That's what it feels like.
Hoodie, I believe, is the only one, to my knowledge, not put into evidence, not turned into evidence. This is the one that it clearly shows the hoodie before the criminalist started her work with the cuts. There are no cuts to YYY, and if we need to, we'll bring Ms. Hartnett in to confirm.
All right, so is Z...
So here's the part. Were there other holes in the sweatshirt that didn't get into evidence? It sounds like there were holes in the sweatshirt that didn't get into evidence. And I'm curious as to why not. No?
ZZZ in evidence?
ZZZ is not in evidence, and that is part of the basis for the mistrial.
So there were holes in the back of his sweatshirt. Just there were also holes but they're not in evidence. See, Adam Lally would have known this, and so would have Laura McLaughlin, who had Hartnett do the testing for the dog DNA. And this makes me wonder about how good the communication is between all the lawyers. I thought I was commenting this morning on Hank Brennan and how many extra little comments he was making that was much more like Alan Jackson style. And I don't like it no matter who's doing it. Like occasionally a lawyer may make a comment and it will get objected to. And it's just because the witness has said something so outrageous or so that they just couldn't help themselves. You know, like you just comes out. Like you can just see it just kind of come out. With Hank Brennan, it's like a nonstop commentary and it gets objected to and sustained, and he does it again and again and again, which makes me think that he does it on purpose to get into the jurors' minds things illegally, and I just don't like it. You know, he was just getting a little too cocky and selfish, you know, just a little too cocky and with a little bit too much attitude. I get it. You know, certainly Patrick Bateman, Daniel Wolf can bring it out in you. He's very slimy and he lies and he smiles and he lies and he has a slick answer for everything, sometimes an answer that doesn't make any sense. Like he had to take his accreditation, one part of his accreditation test twice, and that was the part that was so easy. And so he doesn't think it's a big deal. But if it's easy, you should pass it the first time. It doesn't make any sense. He's like answers like that drive you crazy. I get it. But come on, Hank Brennan. This is what makes me appreciate Adam Lally. He never did any of that. He was like a straight shooter. He stuck to the facts. If he said something, you knew it was in evidence, and you knew he was really so meticulous about everything he said. Even, you know, the Free Karen readers will say, well, he said that Karen Reed, he said that you'll see that Karen Reed hit John O'Keefe. No. At 12:45. No, that's not what he said. He said Trooper Paul is going to tell you that's true. That's what Trooper Paul said. It's not what he said. It's what's in evidence. It's very different. Very different.
It is no coincidence that these two documents are not in evidence, because if they were in evidence, they would clearly have prevented the stunt that we just saw occur with regard to Dr. Wolf. So that is part of the intentional misconduct, Your Honor, is these are documents from the criminalist's file. It's the Commonwealth's documents. And it is very clear when you go to Exhibit ZZZ, the cuts that the criminalist made to the back of the hoodie are specified.
So where on that? Because when I quickly looked at it, I didn't see it. What does it say? Go ahead and read it to me, please.
It's item number 7. I'll read it from the top, LIMS 22-218-4.
So those are cuts to ZZZ, not holes. Were there any holes in his sweatshirt? Hard to tell. Was it pristine till they started cutting into it?
Analyst MSH, which is the initials for Ms. Hartnett. Dates: May 11, 2022, May 12, 2023, and then May 18, 2023. And what she does is she's got the...
You know what? Can you bring it up to me, please?
I certainly can, Your Honor. And I can conduct my argument from right here if that helps, Your
I
Honor.
just want to see, point out to me where it says, where it shows the back.
This is the back. So you can see the back of the hoodie. That's the back of the hoodie head. And then you can see the various. Let me just get a check on this, Your Honor. I'm not.
Right. Mr. Brennan, you should come up and look at this as well.
Thank you.
And I'm
So, Mr. Leslie's statement.
yes.
Right, so this is why.
Can I get the check? Label cuttings. Pardon me? The label cuttings. Right, but if I can, Your Honor,
Sure.
I want to clarify this. Yes, are you willing to, let me just make sure I get.
Mr. Jackson, it says exterior front, what Mr. Leslie was pointing me to.
Well, just a second. It may have printed the wrong page. I can do it, but Mr. Wolf, can you print the back? And then, Your Honor, are you comfortable using the computer at the back? Because I think we just had the wrong one.
We need to mark it, though.
I understood. We will. He's printing it right now. We printed. We wanted to have the front and the back to show all the cuttings, but what only printed out was the front. We are now printing the back. Your Honor is correct. If I may, Your Honor, I'm advised it will take 2 minutes because it has to go through.
So go ahead with your argument.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, what is being printed is which we will mark, will be the front of the hoodie. The purpose of Exhibit ZZZ and the one that is being printed is to show and to give the court, and we're going to request to give to the jury the complete picture and the complete true story about these holes in the hoodie that were presented as if they were caused in.
Really? You're going to give the jury the true story? That would cause you all to basically get disbarred and work against your client's best interest if you gave them the true story. You've been selling them a fiction up to now, but you're the big truth teller. You've been, behind harassing witnesses. Not you, Alessi. You came late. But you wanted to get on a team where the lawyers were harassing the witnesses. Not to get paid, just to try to hitch your wagon and hitch your stars to a high profile case. Doing this for the clout. How is his law firm letting him do this?
In some.
Did he walk away from it? Did he retire from his law firm? And this is like, he was just, I don't know. What law firm would be like, oh, you're going to try this case? Okay, no problem. part of a big civil law firm, Manhattan.
manner by something else other than the
So
criminal.
that seems perfectly reasonable, and I'd be inclined to do that.
I appreciate that, Your Honor. And here is the reason for the motion for a mistrial with prejudice. On its own, to do this, and you put together all of the parts of what just occurred. You start with the fact that and if I could, Your Honor, now that I have it yet marked so I can then refer to it.
All right.
Thank you.
Can you print extra copies too, so I can have my own copy?
Absolutely.
And for the Commonwealth to see?
And I'm going to show the Commonwealth what I just printed.
I love that. He's like, can we print extra copies? Get the intern to print extra. He's like, absolutely, we can print extra copies. Hey, intern, can you print extra copies?
Exhibit A.
Thank you, Madam Court Reporter.
He's pro bono, Eric. He's pro bono. This one, Alessi, came on the team to work pro bono. He thinks he's going to get lots of clients after this. And he's going to become a criminal lawyer. I don't know. I don't know what he wants to do. Maybe he just wants something to say he was part of something exciting in his life. He wants recognition. He wants fame for whatever reason. I don't know if it's most likely to try to get a foray as a, move into criminal law. But he's a civil lawyer. And those cases are so boring. Most of them.
Sure. And here's another document, chain of custody document. Well, Mr. Brenner's reviewing that.
Tanya, you say he's sexy? Hank Brennan's sexy without his glasses? That's why, with or without his glasses, that's why he's the sexiest man on trial. Sexiest man on earth? Sexiest man alive? There he is. Hank over here, Brennan. Do you all remember that when he said that to a witness over here? To the cop who's like staring like they all look like most of the witnesses for Karen Reed look like deer in the headlights.
When I had to, Madam Court Reporter, the chain of custody document for these, and asked that be marked as the next exhibit in order.
Okay.
And then with Your Honor's permission, I would have Madam Court Reporter hand them both up to Your Honor so
Sure.
Your Honor can see what I'm referencing.
Thank you.
Exhibit B for ID.
Thank you.
Here's, thank you, Madam Court Reporter.
Do you need this, Mr. Alessi?
I do not need either of them, Your Honor, and I have the extra copies as well. Okay, so Your Honor, I now have enough copies for Your Honor and for the Commonwealth.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So if I could have one set, that would be great. Yeah, Your Honor. Thank you.
I still do not have ZZZ.
Nor do I.
All right. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Leslie.
So, Your Honor, to do this quickly chronologically, so we have a hoodie sweatshirt that was brought into the criminalist, Ms. Hartnett, with the back of the hoodie with no holes on it. The criminalist...
I'm sorry. Who just asked me if they're done with La Posada? No. Rockstar 60, they're not done with La Posada. You got to hear her. She's breathing so heavy into the microphone. Sounds like The Exorcist. All the evil's coming out. It's really unreal. They tried to make her a dog bite expert, sneak her in as a dog bite expert this morning. That also got turned down. Strangely, Judge Cannoni made some great rulings today. Shockingly.
Makes cuts to the back of the hoodie, makes cuts to the front of the hoodie. The exhibit, Your Honor, depicts those. There's a chain of custody document that describes the chain of custody for the hoodie and the cuts in the chronology. And of course, we have Exhibit 88, which is the hoodie. So, what Mr. Brennan did, and I'm now pulling Exhibit 88, he holds up the back of the hoodie, which has cuts in the back from the criminalist, somebody from the Commonwealth, a witness in this case, Ms. Hartnett, she's testified, and Mr. Brennan has indicated he wants her to come back and testify, which we welcome. And now what we have is we have holes in the back of the sweatshirt that were dramatically held up to and confronted with Dr. Wolf, and then the jury sees it. With the clear, unmistakable, purposeful intention of having the jury conclude that these holes could have come from events on January 29th of 2022, when in fact the Commonwealth well knows from its own documents, from its own criminal list, that those holes in the back were caused by their criminalist as part of their examination and sampling of the hoodie.
Well, spoiler alert, Hank Brennan didn't know because it was done before his time. And this is what makes me worry about the communication between Laura McLaughlin, Adam Lally, and Hank Brennan. Hank Brennan should be asking Laura McLaughlin and Adam Lally, running it by them. They saw this. They had to see the shirt out there and wonder, as a lawyer, why didn't they give Hank Brennan? Are there bad feelings between Hank Brennan and Adam Lally and Laura McLaughlin? Why wouldn't they give him a heads up? Hey, if you're going to be questioning about the holes in that sweatshirt, the back, those are from. Why didn't they say that? What did they think those questions were going to be about? Did anybody think about this? I did.
What could be more egregious?
I don't know. Since you pounded on the podium, I don't know. I say egregious. As soon as you pound on the podium, I know it's serious. And you enunciate, I know it's serious. We had some serious enunciation going on, guys. Serious enunciation and fist pounding. So it's got to be an egregious violation.
What could be more misleading than that? And what could be more important for a...
Oh, I see a fist raised in the air. Up.
Context than the alleged collision that never occurred. That's the topic before some of the most significant and probative witnesses in this trial that the Commonwealth has been attacking from the jump of pretrial. They picked the most opportune, sensitive time to pull this stuff. This is
the wordsmith. It's a stunt, guys. It's not a mistake. It's not an error. It's not a misunderstanding. It's a stunt. And how do we know it's a stunt? They thought they could get this past the defense? Seriously? Really? No lawyer would choose to do this and think they could get it past the defense. That's what's so really wild about this, is that he's saying that the Commonwealth knew this was a lie and tried to pass this off and thought that no one on the defense team of all these lawyers is gonna snuff it out. Come on, really? When they're all into the dog stuff. Like the dog is it's one of the centerpieces of their defense. No one's gonna snuff it out. Obviously, it was a mistake. Now, Hank Brennan's comments, on the other hand, I don't, there, if you want to say that's egregious and he keeps doing it, I might agree with you. I might agree with the defense there. But he's only copying Alan Jackson, who does it constantly. Both of you need to knock it off. We don't need your running commentary. I don't want running commentary through the trial. You're not a good enough lawyer to get out your ideas and your questions, and you shouldn't be lawyering. Sorry. Got to give Hank Brennan some tough love. Alan Jackson, some tough indifference.
This is intentional. This is irremediable. This is on the key issue of this case, whether there was any collision at all. On its own, Your Honor, on its own, this is a mistrial with prejudice. But I add to that what just happened, and I'm not.
That's a great question. I don't know why they didn't object at the time. I assume that Alessi, like the geekiest person on the defense team, was checking and double checking and triple checking before, but I'm certain before he made a big scene. But I'm certain that he noticed someone should have objected. Why Yannetti and Alan Jackson will tell you how out of it they are mentally, that they didn't object at the time. I mean, they went through the first trial with Hartnett's testimony. You know, I was shocked when they showed it today. I was like, really? There are holes? I was pretty sure there weren't holes on the back of the sweatshirt. Then I was like, were there holes? And then I was trying to figure out, were there holes that weren't in evidence? You heard me. Obviously, there's no holes on the back. I don't think he was dragged on the asphalt, now that I know the difference between asphalt and pavement. Thank you very much, Daniel Wolf from Arca. I don't think he was dragged. I think the injury from the arm came from the tail light and the glass that he was holding. He was torn, flipped around like, in a circle, pirouetted, and was thrown. It's not a typical, it's a clipping. It's not a typical collision where you're in the middle of the road. I was hit by a car, but it was making a turn in the middle of the street by an unlicensed driver, Brooklyn. With my girlfriend, we were walking. We were in the middle of the road. It was crazy. Not fun. I don't recommend it.
I'm going to repeat or go into other than to reference. This comes on just mere days after the Commonwealth raised the specter of absence of DNA on the same hoodie sweatshirt without having the criminalist.
And strangely, we didn't get any bruises, anything, the things that you'd think of. We didn't get all the damage was done to our necks. You know, it's really like the being hit by a car, you know, sides swiped. This car was making it turn really fast. We were in the middle of the road on a green, you know, walk light. So, you know, the things that you think would happen in a car accident sometimes don't, you know. Message to the free Karen readers. The why come no bruises? Why come that? Because accidents sometimes don't have the injuries you think they might have. I was telling you all, like, I fell during COVID. I kind of like landed on I broke my pinky. Like, you know, I didn't twist my ankle. I didn't skin my knee. I broke my pinky. Like, not something you'd think for the way that I fell. So, you know. Their accidents are chaotic and they're not all the same.
Excuse me, the Ms. Kuhn from UC Davis come in. I know Your Honor already ruled on that.
Right,
and
so let's move along from
right,
that.
that's right, and I'm going to come back to this. Why is this occurring, Your Honor? Why is this happening? The Commonwealth has no case. They have no collision. They are desperate and are trying to create evidence of specters of collision where the evidence doesn't support it. So what have we come to? We've come to the manufacture of evidence. We've come to, incredibly, taking a hoodie, a key piece of evidence in this case, and holding up to Dr. Wolf, the ARCA expert, to try to make it seem like Dr. Wolf didn't do his job. You didn't account for these holes. How could you be a credible accident reconstructionist when you talk about some holes, but you don't talk about these holes? Knowing all along the holes that Attorney Brennan is trying to impeach Dr. Wolf on were caused by the Commonwealth's own criminalists.
So we can't remedy this with a jury instruction. This has to be a mistrial. Doesn't this look like the defense is nervous about sending this to the jury? Don't they look nervous for a conviction? I mean, if they're so sure that she's going to get off because there's no evidence of a collision, as all the free Karen readers keep saying, why don't they just throw it to the jury? Get the judge to say a jury instruction to disregard and move on. You can't convict on the holes in the sweatshirt. End of story. Why are they always jumping up so quickly on such weak sauce to demand a mistrial? Do we have a lot of why comers? Why come? Why come no frostbite? Why come no holes in the sweatshirt? Why come? Why come? Why come the accident didn't happen like this? That's like, you got to let her go if you have a why come question. Or then you get the free Karen Reed parroters. But ARCA said this, but ARCA said that. But ARCAs are hired guns for the defense. So, yeah. But Dr. La Posada, hired gun by the defense.
as part of sampling. I don't believe one could come up with more misleading, misdirecting elucidation of testimony than this on the key issue in the case. We have irrefutable, objective evidence, and I will state that it's more than interesting that none of these exhibits that Your Honor now has marked for identification were put in evidence by the Commonwealth. Isn't it some coincidence that these are the one, and the only one of the, you know, with regard to the hoodie, the back of it's not in, although the rest of them are, but these aren't. Your Honor, I think.
Yeah, the Commonwealth didn't jump up and cry for a mistrial when the defense put up pictures saying Proctor when it wasn't Proctor. I mean, what remedy for that? I mean, the Commonwealth had better grounds on that than this. And it said John's dog bites on his arm. I mean, that was downright dirty by the defense. What remedy? The Commonwealth had no remedy for the fact that they got a mistrial, maybe on some perjured testimony. The non-biased ARCA witnesses. I mean, you know, now we're talking mistrial. Let's go whole hog. As long as we're talking mistrial, let's talk about all the crazy things.
I think there is one and only one conclusion, in that this is intentional, that it is.
That's has to be an element for a mistrial, that it has to be intentional, because this clearly wasn't intentional. No lawyer wants to go up when you're working for the prosecution. For the defense, if you think you can get it down, but there's such, I mean, say no one noticed anything, right? And this went to the jury. Karen Reed could have appealed on this one issue. Maybe that's why they weren't objecting, is they were going to try to say, what's the better thing to do? Ask for a mistrial now? What do you want to do, Karen? Or keep this in, and then you can appeal on these issues if you get convicted of anything. I mean, this would have been a basis for an appeal that could have overturned the whole trial. Her whole convictions is what I mean. If she got convicted, would have been like nice little get out of jail free card for her. I mean, I've seen criminals released on a lot less.
A matter of such significance and of such misconduct and intentional that it merits the sanction of a mistrial with prejudice. The amount of effort, the amount of work, I can't even begin to think to remedy this in front of the jury, to go backwards on this. That should not befall the defense. That should befall the prosecution. Ms. Reed, again, is entitled, like every other defendant in this wonderful Commonwealth, to a fair trial. The prosecution is supposed to be held to a higher standard, to do justice.
Oh, really? A higher standard than the defense lawyers? Is that what you mean? I mean, I know we do all this shady stuff. You know what? The witnesses had a right not to be harassed and to live their life free of harassment. But that didn't happen. You made sure that didn't happen, Alan Jackson, David Unetti, Karen Reed. You made their lives living hell, all to get your killer client off.
To create a fair trial. This is the antithesis of a fair trial. Miss Reed's rights under the Constitution and the Declaration of Rights have once again been trampled on, and it is becoming evidently clear the more desperate the prosecution gets because it can't prove its theory, including its own medical examiner can't support them, that they're now resorting to conduct like this. Your Honor, at some point, this has to come to an end. At some point, Ms. Reed's rights have to be protected. At some point, confidence in the judicial system, the public's confidence in the judicial system, that prosecutors...
Right, the public, like all the free Karen readers watching the trial. This is for you guys. Get upset. Just follow my lead. I'm doing a lot of podium pounding. Some PPs going down here. Podium pounding going down here. Get upset, free Karen readers. I'm enunciating and doing some PPs. Everybody, get upset. Your murderous hero, your psychopathic murderer hero. His rights are being violated after she violated everyone else's. All right, here.
Will conduct themselves with their duty to present a fair trial. That has to be enforced at some point for Ms. Reed to receive the fair trial that she and every other defendant in this Commonwealth is entitled to.
All right, thank you. Mr. Brennan.
Okay, so spoiler alert, it was a mistake by Hank Brennan. But look at how he's walking to the podium. This is how you know it's a mistake. He's not sheepishly embarrassed. He's a very type A personality, you can tell, just by the way he dresses. I mean, have you ever seen like a hair out of place? A mayonnaise tie on his mayonnaise stain on his tie? No. The guy's meticulous and he cares about appearances, and he does not want to look stupid in front of the whole public that's watching this trial. He doesn't want to have to apologize like this. Clearly a mistake. Clearly not intentional.
Your Honor, my brief review of the lab paperwork and looking at the hoodie, it appears that I made a mistake.
It is. His face is bright red. Bright red. When have we seen Hank Brennan that bright red? Hey, Barb Healy, thanks for the super sticker. Nice to see you.
Mistake. And so I think what should happen is there should be a curative instruction. There should be a stipulation. The court should instruct the jury that during Mr. Brennan's cross-examination, he asked Dr. Wolf about holes on the sweatshirt or holes on the back of Mr. O'Keefe's sweatshirt. The parties agree the holes were made by a crime lab technician. This was done inadvertently but should not have been asked. The court should strike the questions and the answers. And you should instruct the jury there to completely disregard any questions or answers about the holes in the back of the sweatshirt. And the court should allow the defense to introduce the lab paperwork.
All right. So I'm not going to allow the mistrial motion, Mr. Leslie. What I'm going to do is instruct the jurors. I'm going to put in what's been marked for identification, Y, Z, A, and B. 4 of each letters. I'm going to put all these into evidence. They can be displayed for the jury, and I'm going to instruct the jury that during the cross-examination of Dr. Wolf, Mr. Brennan asked him about holes in the back of the sweatshirt and whether or not they perhaps could have come from events or implying or something like this. I instruct you, you are not permitted to draw any inference that these could have come from the events of January 29th, 2022. I instruct you further that those holes were made by the criminalist, Ms. Harnett, during the course of her inspection and sampling of the sweatshirt on, I just put the dates aside. Chrissy, can I see those, please? It's unclear for me. Do you have a better idea, Mr. Alessi, what day these were done? Is it all of those 3 days? Now I see a fourth day. 5/11, no, I'm sorry, 5/11, 5/12, 5/11, 2022, 5/12, 2023, and 6/18, 2023. Those are the 3 dates?
Your Honor, on or about May 18th, when the defense filed a motion to test, so that's the probative date.
So May 18th?
Yes, that's good.
Okay.
And that's 2023.
Yep. All right. That's what I'm going to do. Is there anything further you want me to include in the instruction? Your rights are saved regarding the mistrial. I disagree with you on that.
Your Honor, I'm not going to go any more into the argument, but I appreciate the opportunity to provide perhaps some further instruction for Your Honor.
All right, so I'll hear you. Go ahead.
So the first, Your Honor, is with regard to two things. One, I would like the opportunity to have the hoodie sweatshirt held up, because that's what happened.
Yes. Yes.
These holes in the
Yes.
back.
Yes.
Thank you. So that's number one as part of the stipulation, and then.
I'm not wording it as a stipulation, and I'm not saying it was inadvertent. I am giving an instruction that they cannot consider it for this purpose, and I am allowing these to be placed into evidence. So it's not a stipulation. It's from me, which I think is more forceful.
I misspoke, Your Honor. I agree, not a stipulation, but just as Your Honor said, with regard to the matter Your Honor said they're not to take an inference, I would respectfully request that this be handled just like Your Honor did with regard to the rock at 34 Fairview. Your Honor said that rock wasn't present, on or about the time of event.
So I do say that when I say Ms. Harnett did this. So rewording it just a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
Mr. Brennan asked Dr. Wolf about holes in the back of the sweatshirt. I instruct you that you are not permitted to draw any inference that those holes were a result of the events on January 29th, So, all right, this is what I'm going to say. So if you're not going to listen to it, that's fine. I've already said it. All right, we can bring the jury in. It's what I said, Mr. Alessi.
Okay, so that was the big hubbub. The big hubbub today. That was the big hubbub. The big to-do. Also, wanted to show you guys this just for fun. Let me just pull it up before. Here we go. On X, a very funny little video just for fun. Just for fun while we're here all together. Thought I'd show you just a fun video. Here we go. Okay, on Karen Reed and Alan Jackson. Thought this was fun.
John O'Keefe was murdered, no question. He died at the hands of another person. There are people that know exactly what happened to John.
Let me actually skip past that part. Let me skip past that part. I don't know, that 2020 just kills you on copyright. I think we're safe on this part.
I think you know who that person is. I think about it every day, about prison time, because I know I deserve it.
Karen Reed did this? Who the hell cares?
People said some pretty nasty things about you online.
I understand why it is. so many moments in court were a relief to me because I've known these things in some cases for years and had to keep it amongst our inner circle.
Not her.
Not me.
Okay.
There's no relationship. He's touched everything. Everything.
It's far beyond regrettable. It's disgusting. It's disturbing.
I've really not had my physical boundaries impinged in any way.
Damn it. I've fallen back again.
I want to thank Ginger Rutledge. I want to thank Deborah Shults, Deborah Ratliff for becoming Patreon members. If you want to support the stream, links are in the description of this episode. You can buy me a coffee, Patreon, or send a donation via Venmo. All great ways to support the stream. Let me just double check and make sure that I have everything I want to show you. I've shown you. Oh, yeah, Andrea Burkhart is, I don't know. People say, do you think this is a threat? Okay, here, check this out. Is this a threat to Hank Brennan? Is this a threat, or are people on this side overdoing it? I'm going to throw this out to my audience. Andrea Burkhead's like a major innocence fraudster. She's one of these civil lawyers that shills for killers. Her shill for killer channel. Here's her talking about Hank Brennan. Oh, so if you don't know, let me see if I have it up. Show you. I think I do. I think I had it. Yeah, here. So Dana Wolf, right? Daniel Wolf, Patrick Bateman, the guy I call Patrick Bateman, American Psycho, the guy from ARCA, his wife joined Free Karen Reed before, right after he testified, and was, doing a big stink over there. Here's Andrea Burkhart saying that, so Aidan Carney said, oh, it was terrible to bring up his wife, but his wife inserted herself. She had to know that's going to be, that's going to be noted if he testified again. She thought he wasn't ever going to testify again for Karen Reed. That's why she joined after he testified. She didn't think there was going to be a mistrial. She miscalculated. It's her fault, not Hank Brennan's for bringing it up. She inserted herself. But they're blaming Hank Brennan for bringing in a man's wife. Meanwhile, they brought in people's entire relatives, friends, harassed them. Anyone connected to this case, witnesses. Oh, wait, do I not have the sound up? So this is Andrea Burkhart.
You got to watch yourself now, Hank. You brought his wife into it. You better be watching your back real closely.
Is that a threat? Is that a threat that we should take seriously? Is she being dramatic for her stream? See, that's the thing. You don't know, right? You don't know if she's inciting her listeners. We know the Free Karen readers are one of the more vicious. I put them right up there with the Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey murderer groupies. They're one of the more destructive, vicious, unhinged group of murderer groupies. And I've dealt with a lot of them. Believe you me. So you don't know if you're sicking those kind of disordered people on someone or inciting them, even if she's not serious, even if she's doing it for dramatic purposes. Otherwise, I mean, if it were any other group of people, I'd be like, she can't be serious. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see everybody tomorrow at 8:40 is generally when I've been hopping on, maybe a few minutes before that. So not later, hopefully not later than 8:40 a.m. And we'll watch day 30 of Karen Reed's trial together. Really, I can't believe it's been almost the same. It looks like it's going to be longer than the first trial. Isn't that shocking? I'm shocked. The first one felt much longer. I don't know if it was more weeks or whatever, but days wise, it feels like it's dragging on. I can't believe it's going to be longer. It seems to be going by very quickly. First one went on and on. Hit the like. Thank you, Taterbug. Subscribe. Share this episode. I'll be back tomorrow at 8:40 to watch day 30 of Karen Reed's trial. Have a great night, everybody. See ya then.
I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim. Carry, Jen, like John, you were my mark. My innocence fraud campaign is my biggest hit. Yeah. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim.